Just letting you guys know you can listen to my No Bleeps podcast anywhere you stream podcasts or on my No Bleeps YouTube channel. Link in the description. Hey guys, it's Spilly and welcome back to Spill Sesh. Honestly, holy smokes, you guys. I honestly can't even fathom and or process the fact that Joey Graceffa is calling out Gabbie Hanna because Gabbie Hanna went off on Joey Graceffa and Daniel Prada. I am so shook by all of this. This is insane. The stories are insane and we need to break down what Gabbie said, Joey's response, Daniel's response, other people's response, freaking Rosanna never in drama coming out to Joey's defense. Like, this whole thing is absolutely insane. Gabbie, if you guys don't know, has been doing a multi-part series on her channel where she's talking about a lot of old drama that she was in and just venting. These videos are really long. They're of her venting about how she's feeling, trying to explain her side of things. So Gabbie posted episode 4, chapter 4 of her series that she's doing, and it was called Escape the Nightmare. In this video, she discusses her experience working on Escape the Night season 4 specifically. She had previously done a season of Escape the Night, which is a show that Joey Graceffa created with YouTube, and this is $1 million show. They put a lot of money into making this very high level production, and this is a serious thing. Like, there are a bunch of YouTubers in the show, but this is a professional set. Millions of dollars are on the line here. And so she had participated previously in a season, and then she was asked back in season 4. Now, I'm going to tell you guys what Gabbie said about her experience first, because her video came out first. Then I'm going to tell you guys kind of what's been going on Twitter, and then I'll get into Joey's recent response where he literally dragged her to filth because, wow, I mean, he came with the receipts too, so it's like, there's a lot of questions people have after hearing what Joey has had to say. And there's honestly a lot of questions that people had even just hearing Gabbie's side alone. So before Gabbie posted this video, we had heard things about Gabbie being a nightmare to work with on Escape the Night. Joey did a podcast episode with Trisha Paytas where Trisha asked about the show and like if there was any drama or anything like that. And Joey had said that season 4 was really, really bad. Like, there was one particular person that was a nightmare to work with.
That was season 4 was my least favorite to film by far.
Why?
Just because
drama.
Of this one person on the cast who just made it.
Really? Mm-hmm. And how do you stay out of like not talking about drama? You never talk about things. I would call people out left, right, and center.
No, honestly, I could have, and I could have like exposed a lot of receipts, but yeah. I don't know. I guess I don't put out that energy.
Didn't name Gabbie, but obviously people were guessing that it was a possibility because of Gabbie's reputation. And Daniel, he is a credited producer for the show. In a Q&A that he did on his channel, he had mentioned Sophia and Gabbie. He said that Sophia didn't want to promote the show afterwards, and then he mentioned Gabbie's behavior on set and all of that stuff. So that's what we knew about this. And so this is Gabbie's kind of response to hearing about the fact that these two people that she thought were her friends were talking bad about her for being a nightmare on set. So she said the reason why she was a nightmare to work with, because she admitted this. In this video, you guys, Gabbie admits that she was not very fun to work with because she was angry and upset and did lash out at people. She literally admits that in this video. But she's mostly trying to say why she acted that way. So she said that the main things come down to the schedule that they were given in order to be on the set and all that stuff. It was like overworked and like a lot of waiting around and all that stuff. She didn't like the costume that she had. She felt like it was very restrictive, and she said that was like triggering for her ADHD, and she did not like the costume and it wasn't comfortable, and they had to be in it all day long. And then also there was a food situation. Gabbie had said to Daniel that she had a specific way that she wanted to like eat on set, and she needed these specific meals on the set of the production. So that became a whole thing. And she showed text messages of telling Daniel through text these specific needs that she had for eating. And so that was that. She had just texted Daniel her needs. She had admitted that she had blown up on a producer and at Daniel, but said she was careful not to blow up at Joey. but like I said, admitted to being mean to people. She even said that she shouldn't have done the show and should have handled herself better. Gabbie did the show season 2 and she was asked back season 4. She says that she was begged to come back. That's something that's really important to kind of take away from the situation. She realizes now that she should not have done the show. I think what's hard when you're hearing this is like, she's clearly realized that she did mess up on the show with how she acted and that she just shouldn't have done the show again. But I think Gabbie's having like a hard time with the fact that friendships were ruined and she feels like people were fake to her on the set and afterwards. Because long story short, she was asked to be on the show. Filming the show went terribly. Afterwards, she's hearing that Daniel and Joey are throwing shade at her, and thus she is upset and she's speaking out because she wants to give her side as to why she acted the way that she did, and say that she's upset that her friends or people that she thought were her friends were talking badly about her. Whereas we're gonna later get into it, Joey is saying, yeah, like we were friends, but the way that you acted, we're no longer going to be friends after this, after the way that you acted. And it's really uncomfortable and hard to say, hey, we're not friends anymore to you. All in all, she just shouldn't have done the show. If she didn't like long hours, she didn't like how acting, being on sets and things are, she just shouldn't have done that. In terms of the costume, she claimed that the first season, it was very restrictive. She didn't want the same thing. She asked the second time she get a more comfortable costume, and apparently that is not how it went. She's allergic to metals. They had asked her if she was allergic to metals. They didn't follow instructions that she had apparently given them, and she broke out into hives because she was wearing these fake metals for her costume. And then obviously in terms of the food was not what she wanted it to be, and it wasn't to her dietary needs, and so she said that she was hungry, and thus she was acting out. She was upset and her mood was really off. And this one in particular, a lot of people were just like, why don't you pack a lunch? If you saw the first day they weren't going to be accommodating to your meals, yes, that's extremely frustrating. If you had said something that's really upsetting and it sucks, but maybe day 2, if it really affected your mood, day 1, just bring something just in case to prevent being upset. On the topic of the food, you guys, I just want to mention that at 33 minutes and 32 seconds in this video, and she was complaining about how one day she was very hungry and she shows text messages to Daniel where she says, when do we get a meal? He said, let me ask. She said, they said the kitchen doesn't even open until 5. Then they have to take all the orders and prepare them. He said they're taking orders at 4:30. Here's the set menu and they can make you anything else you'd like. He said chips, ground beef, penne meatballs, sausage penne, veggies, veggie curry, beans, strawberry, green salad, fruit. I mean, to me, that sounds like there's protein there. Sounds like there could be vegetables there. Sounds like there could be a healthy carb there. But anyways, she says, my stomach hurts so bad from eating. I'm not supposed to eat, LOL. And he says chicken, veggies, etc. So he's basically telling her there are options. And then they bring her a plate of ground beef. And in her video, she specifically puts this text over it saying, and then they brought me a plate of just unseasoned ground beef. LMAO, I can't make this up. Like what? When previously in this video, when she shows text messages between her and Daniel saying that she needs to eat a specific way, she says, okay, hi, back. Chicken, fish, veggies, sweet potato, black beans, salad, but they're dry lettuce and 2 1x1 strips of meat ain't enough because only eating twice a day, I need a full meal. I'm coming straight from my trainer too, so I'm gonna be hungry AF. I'm doing intermittent fasting, so I better be a Barbie by April 12th. As long as there is a healthy fat, a healthy carb, and a protein, it should be fine and enough calories. He said, gotcha. I'll have that available for you and you can dress it as you like. Sounds good? And she says, lovely. He literally told her, you can dress the food yourself, meaning you can season the food yourself. And she said, lovely. But in this video, she's so mad that they brought her unseasoned food. He told you, he gave you the warning, hey, girl, you're gonna have to dress your own food. And she said, lovely. So I don't know what she was expecting. And also the food that she listed, chicken, veggies, beans, salad, those were literally the options that Daniel gave her when he texted her saying the kitchen opens at 4:30. I'm so confused, you guys. I'm so confused. Kind of to wrap up Gabbie's side of this entire situation, she realized that she had acted out and was not her best and was not nice on set, and did later apologize to Daniel and to Joey through text message, and they accepted her apology. And she showed screenshots of this, so you guys could pause to read, but she did show screenshots of apologizing and them accepting the apology. You know, once they accepted the apology, she was just very hurt and confused when they were talking about her publicly, talking about how she acted on Escape the Night, when a lot of people in the comments were kind of just saying, just because somebody accepts your apology doesn't wipe away the situation, doesn't take away any hurt that you might have caused them, and they can still be upset with you even though they accept your apology. That's pretty much the premise of the situation. She does bring up like a weird party invitation situation where she wasn't invited to a party, and she was hurt by Daniel and Joey, but I think it's pretty clear that they just weren't friends at that point, and it wasn't clicking for Gabbie that they weren't friends anymore. She was just really hurt by the fact that they were being, you know, she says fake to her. Once this video came out, Rosanna came out with a large statement on Twitter that is so rare for her to even speak on anything ever related to drama. And she came to Joey and Daniel's defense because Rosanna was on the same season as Gabbie. She was on season 4. So she had witnessed a lot of the things that Gabbie was mentioning. So she had said, in regards to @Gabbie Hanna's video, Joey and Daniel were extremely patient and accommodating during filming season 3 and 4 of Escape the Night. I personally witnessed them both try to take care of every single cast member more than any other set I've been on in 14 plus years. They both even paid out of their own pocket to make sure we had the nicest trailer with everything we requested. The crew was also very professional, organized, and hardworking. I don't like drama, but Gabbie's video paints an untruthful picture of what happened. Much of it is simply false. 1, Gabbie did not come to the 3 wardrobe fittings before filming. At 2 of my fittings, I was told Gabbie was supposed to be there that day, but didn't show up. She chose not to go at all, so the wardrobe department did their best to make a costume without being able to see her. I too had some issues with my wardrobe, but was able to work with the production team to get them resolved at the fittings. 2, the entire cast was sent a dietary restriction request form days before filming. Every single request I made on the form was taken care of by Joey and Daniel. I personally heard Gabbie tell Joey the first day of filming, I didn't fill that out, I hope that's okay. Keep in mind, meals are ordered before production begins, so everything is ready ahead of time. That is the time to make dietary requests or bring your own food. 3, I also personally witnessed Daniel leaving set to go get Gabbie any food that she wanted. There was also many healthy options, including a salad bar with protein. Despite all this, she blamed Joey multiple times for causing her ED to come back. 4, during the photo shoot press day, long after the show wrapped shooting, Gabbie called one of the female production assistants a dumb C word and walked off set without finishing her shoot. The reason? Because the crew member gave an updated shoot time that was 10 minutes different than she was originally told. 5, I also have ADHD and am very familiar with the anxiety and stress it can cause. However, that is simply not an excuse to treat people like that and behave in that manner. I don't think Gabbie realized that I could unfortunately hear many of the conversations she was having with Joey and production because of my part of the trailer shared a paper-thin wall with Joey's. I did my best to avoid my private room for this reason, but from what I did hear, I can say I've never experienced someone talk like that. This is just a few of the falsehoods in her video, but I'll stop here. She was the most difficult, mean, and selfish person I've ever experienced on set. Oftentimes, exposing videos are produced in a way to leave out key details. Please keep that in mind when viewing this type of content. Alex Wasabi, who was also part of Escape the Night, also quote tweeted Rosanna's tweet and said, "Not looking for drama, but I have to say @Joey Graceffa and @Mr. Prado were 100% the most amazing, respectful, and professional on-set duo I've ever worked with. They went above and beyond for every cast member involved in both seasons that I was honored and grateful to be a part of." Daniel came out on Twitter and said, "Thank you @Rosanna Pansino for your candid response. You were such a professional and wonderful addition to our brilliant cast during both season 3 and 4 and continue to be such an incredibly talented, supported friend in the industry." Daniel also said, "It's unfortunate to see myself and a show I worked extremely hard to produce for 4 years painted in such a dark light in order to attempt another 15 minutes of internet relevancy. At best, it's manipulative and delusional. You want the truth, but the question is, can you handle mine?" Joey said, "LMAO, always playing the victim. I've been very silent about how truly awful she was on set. But if this is the game she wants to play, let's play B." This is where I will tell you guys, Joey made a video and he did not come to play. Joey brought those receipts, and he says he has possibly even more to come. So he made a video response titled, "Gabbie Hanna needs to stop." And he says that him and Gabbie were close friends, but the reason they aren't anymore is because she was a nightmare on Escape the Night. He said, "You ended our friendship. The way you acted on set made life on set a living HELL. Screaming at the director, demanding things, called someone a dumb C word. That's not how you act regardless of any mental health issues." That's what Joey said. He also says he has receipts in terms of other people who were there, and he's trying to get the raw footage of how she acted on set because they're on a set, cameras are rolling. And also, I like to say, Gabbie signed a contract to do this show. Gabbie signed papers that said she had to be on set, she had to show up for these certain things, and obviously knew what she was getting into in terms of the schedule. So the fact that she was upset about the schedule, it's a little confusing. And also, Colleen had just had a baby a couple months prior to filming Escape the Night, and Gabbie saying she needed sleep. Like, nobody can function off of these like working conditions and working hours, whereas like Colleen had a baby, and she was very open about the fact that her baby had colic and he was crying all the time. She never slept, but she still showed up to the set, and Joey described her as basically his rock, and she was always supporting Joey, and that was despite a crazy schedule. Joey then says he never even named Gabbie. Like, when he was talking to Trisha about someone from season 4 being a nightmare to work with, he never named her and said that people were just able to connect the dots based on her reputation, and that's something that she caused for herself. And he was basically saying to Gabbie, you know, hey, you can't treat your friends so poorly like that, like how you did on set, and then expect us all to not talk about it, talk about our experiences, just because we're quote unquote friends. Just because we're friends doesn't mean I can't talk about it. And then he even says he could have been meaner about it. He says that he never even begged her to be in the show in the first place because she said that she was basically begged to come back season 4. He said he wanted her, of course, because they were friends, and did show screenshots of this, but was never begging her to come back. And then he moves on to addressing ADHD, which Gabbie blamed for her behavior along with the food situation. And Joey said that a lot of the cast actually has ADHD and didn't act the way that she did. And a lot of people have truly been coming and calling her out, saying that she can't use that as an excuse for treating people poorly. And that's just been across the board, like all the comments. Like, a lot of people have just been saying, hey, I have this, and that's not an excuse. Now, in terms of the food situation, Gabbie claimed, she had told Daniel her food needs, and, she did provide screenshots of that and was upset that it wasn't more accommodating when she was there, and it led to her being hungry and upset. Joey says that every single cast member, just like Rosanna said, was given a form to fill out, like a health and safety form, dietary restrictions, and things like that. And he had screenshots of them having emailed Gabbie this form. It says, read Gabbie Hanna, Escape the Night Season 4 cast insurance form and questionnaire per Gabbie. She will be filling out and delivering below forms in person today. I have informed her they must be filled out before she can go on set. Filming can begin. As far as dietary restrictions, she had informed me she is allergic to mangoes, doesn't eat sugar, and doesn't consume dairy. And he said that she didn't fill it out until the day of shooting. And you know what, guys? He caught her red-handed. He has vlog footage of her sitting in the makeup chair day 1 filling out this paper. She says, I'm filling out my papers.
Miss Gabbie, can we do a little BTS moment? How is she? Look at, she's got her yellow hair on.
We're doing
She's practicing her script.
filling out my medical information.
You're supposed to fill this out beforehand so we can get everything prepared and make sure that we have your dietary restrictions accounted for.
You're filling it out the day of. Things are not going to be ready for you day 1 then. Anyways, he says that Daniel literally went to Whole Foods to get this specific food for her. Like, she left it out. And he says that he thinks she was actually just trying to be difficult on purpose, to be like a diva or be more special or something. And then he talked about the outfit situation because she said that her outfit was restrictive, it wasn't comfortable. And he says that she actually loved the outfit at the first fitting, and they just altered the custom look to have a different color and to match her skin tone and her hair better. She had 2 more fittings after the first and didn't show up for them. And the costume designer tried to be as accommodating as possible, and he had receipts of all of this, receipts of emails to Gabbie, to her team, saying that she needed to be there, and it was clear she wasn't coming because they kept emailing. In the emails about the fitting, the screenshots read, hi, we shoot this show beginning Monday, March 11th. We need to fit her as soon as possible. Is there any way you can make this happen? Is there another time tomorrow? ? Hi, good talking with you just now. Tomorrow between 9 and 2 p.m. will work for wardrobe. The earlier, the better. Hi, just checking in. Will we get Gabbie today? Let me know. Thanks. Hi, I have conveyed the information discussed, but unfortunately, Gabbie has a shoot today and cannot go to Universal for the fitting. The only way she could do the fitting would be if you were able to go to the studio. Please let me know if that is all possible or if she should be fit on set on Monday. The costume designer, 9 months pregnant, apparently drove to meet up with Gabbie at her studio for a fitting, and Gabbie stood her up. And Joey was like, how do you expect the costume to fit properly and be like how you want it to be when you don't even meet up with the team to make sure it's right? And thus, that's why the costume did not work. The other story is that there was a time where a PA went to tell Gabbie what time she had to be there the next day and then cursed out the PA and was like refusing to come in. Joey said that even her manager at the time, I don't know if it's her current manager or what, was even apologizing to them, saying that he was going to drop her after this because of the way she was acting. And then Joey and the director had a decision that they came to, saying that they couldn't have her on set any longer. And after all like the trouble and everything it caused, they plan to basically like boot her off the show. Because if you guys don't know what Escape the Night is, it's basically like a fantasy reality game show type of deal. Like, it's not a game show, but it's difficult to describe if you don't really know it. But basically, people leave the show periodically and there's a winner. They plan to have Tana out next because she had an award show she needed to go to, so she had to like kind of be off the show next based on schedule. And they were just like so desperate to get Gabbie off the show as well that they planned to just have them both leave in the same episode. And it was earlier than they had planned to end, her character. He had a conversation with Gabbie prior to this, and he was reassuring her that all was well, because Gabbie mentioned in her video that she felt like something was kind of sus that was going on and that Joey was like being fake to her, saying that everything was all fine and good. And Joey said there were millions of dollars on the line and he was in producer mode telling her everything was fine and it was all good, because honestly, and how unpredictable she might have been, that they needed to just make sure that she was like all good in the headspace so that she could continue filming for that day. They could boot her off and then, they got the shot, and then it doesn't really matter after that. Because honestly, I think if Joey had been like, you're done, she could have maybe just left. And Joey says like he just needed things to go smoothly and he wasn't gonna let her F it up for him, and was just making his life horrible anyways. So he said he was proud for how he handled her and he had to do what he had to do to protect the show. And also addresses the hours that they were working, saying how is she like so mad about having to sit around and wait, because she kept saying that there were a lot of times where she was sitting down and like waiting for them to come and tell her to come and film or whatever. And he's like, you're getting paid thousands of dollars. I'm sure there's like probably a bunch of people, honestly, literally, this is me saying this, there's probably millions of people, anybody that would want to get paid thousands of dollars just like sit down and do nothing. Seriously. But then he discusses the apology that she brought up, saying that, him accepting her apology was to protect the show. He said she's unstable. He called her unstable. And he would rather pretend that they're all good than have to deal with the craziness that she brings. And he said that she's scary and delusional, and also says that she always plays the victim. He said that months later, he was open with her about how he felt and it just wasn't getting through to her. He said the reason why people are fake and don't know how to cut it off with her is because she's scary and makes it hard for people to be honest with her. Oof, my gosh, you guys. The tea in this video, honestly. And then at the very end, he includes that a week after they finished shooting, they had to do kind of like the promotional stuff for the show, like taking the pictures that were going to be used for promo and the billboards and all that stuff. And she was like literally contractually obligated to show up. And she said she had a gym appointment, and she did show up, and she thought she could kind of like show up and do her thing and then leave. But that kind of wasn't the case. Like, there's a lot of other people that are there, a lot of other people that have millions of subscribers too. Like, she wasn't like the only person in the room that was a famous YouTuber. Like, there's a ton of people in the room that are also famous YouTubers. And so there was going to be waiting around. There's multiple people that have to get their picture taken. And he said that they didn't even get to finish her promo shoot because she went off on someone, called someone a dumb C word, and was upset with like how the day was going. All in all, this just tells me that Joey and Daniel did not like Gabbie afterwards, and she thought her apology was good enough and that they were all still friends, and clearly they weren't, and she was upset when they were talking about her, and they feel like they have a right to talk about her. And she says, you accepted my apology, why are you talking bad about me? and thinks that it was fake of them. I do see that, you know, her point is that they were fake to her. Joey does admit that he was like fake in order to keep the show going and make sure that nothing bad happened along the way. And he felt like that was just something that he needed to do. So this is a crazy situation. I cannot believe that Joey Graceffa is a drama. I can't believe Rosanna is talking about this stuff. Oh my gosh, this is a lot. And I wonder if we're going to be getting that like footage of Gabbie on set and stuff. Well, that would just be wild to me. But I definitely want to know what you guys think about all this. This is a very insane, crazy situation. A lot of things are being said on the internet right now, but I love you guys so much. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I will talk to you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.